Cyber Force today as we get things going. So, 2 maps to be played here. Again, every player plays 2 maps against every other player in the group. It's plain, it's simple, and it's a round-robin format. So again, everyone does play against everyone else. We start to the bottom right-hand side. The map, our blue Zerg player from Clash is Elazer. He's going up against the red Zerg to the upper left-hand side from Godaron Esports, Denver. Okay, then we kick this off and we look to see just where we're going to be going in this first series of the day, looking for this ZvZ. If you're wondering about what our match order is going to be, it's going to be slightly amended from what we have to show you elsewhere. So we are going to be delaying the Clem versus Insane series. So Clem versus Insane will be cast a little bit later on, and then we'll also be casting a couple of other things a little bit later on. Whichever one is it? This one, yes. Alright, just editing map order somewhere so people know. Perfect. Alright, so the TL calendar has the correct match order. So we're going to be casting Elazer versus Denver, followed by Clem versus Mana. It's the most beautiful natural base I've ever seen. Good luck, says Elazer. I wonder why. It's a pretty narrow ramp up. I mean, if we actually talk about this for just a moment and ignore what I was going on about with the order of matches, you guys can check that out yourselves. But yeah, it's kind of, I'm not actually too sure why he likes it more so than others. I'm not sure if he's being, you don't know what these guys are on about either, right? You don't know whether they actually just think it looks pretty or if he's like, oh my god, this looks amazing to play on. I mean, I think it's just because it's a very narrow ramp, and so it's very difficult for opponents to push up into this. Now, what I am interested in is to see just how the players do start to expand here. We've seen a lot of third bases taken down on this low ground rather than up on the high ground. We've even seen a lot of players generally expanding across here, although some players decide to take 4 bases around this kind of just bottom right corner in general. The map leads in towards this kind of high ground middle map, which has a little bit of kind of a low ground ramp here and there, and a little bit of interest as you approach your opponent's side. So, keeps things interesting. As we'll see already, Denver is looking towards going into that next hatchery. Apparently, I just cannot speak today, can I? I'm stumbling over all of my words, word after word after word so far. Not a great start. But yes, we do see the third hatchery being taken, and actually both players are going to take their third hatchery in slightly different positions. So one hatchery up on the right-hand side, one hatchery in the more centralized position, as you will see a baneling nest coming down from both players now on the front of the natural. So baneling nest on the way up. I'm just starting to get this established here, as we will see a couple of Zerglings from the Elazer coming in from the right-hand side and starting to nibble their way through this hatchery, starting to get just a little bit of damage dealt here, as we do see 2 more Zerglings from Denver showing up and going to go for a jump onto those Zerglings as well. So Lings of Elazer in the end going to come and pull on back over to the right-hand side. They actually turn around again, and again just slight nibble in here, slight micro war to start things off. And again, I'm already happy that we're seeing a couple different bases being taken, which is nice to see. Just kind of, again, shows the kind of diversity in the map and players kind of experimenting with different things. Now, one thing I want to remind you all about is the $700 prize, which is up for grabs, simply based on the best players using the maps today. So if you see anything cool that utilizes kind of the feature of the maps or something along those lines, then you can definitely let us know about it, clip it, tweet us with it, and all the rest, because we will be putting all of those entries into a poll at the end, and we will be polling who you guys think should take home the larger portion of that $700 for using the maps in fun, creative ways. Needless to say, we say creative, TLO did a pretty good job of it yesterday, as did Art. We've been seeing some pretty cool stuff throughout the tournament in general, honestly. It's been some good games so far. If you've missed out on the entire week up until now, well, I pity you. You really have missed out on some very fun games, so it's not been a fun week to miss. But again, if you have, all of our VODs are sub-free. You can just go and watch them whoever you are, wherever you are. Go and check them out, catch up on those matches. Playoffs starting tomorrow as well, by the way. And we'll be completing this tournament on Sunday, in case you're wondering about our overall schedule. And as we see a lair on the way up right now from Denver. It's just a little bit further ahead than the lair of Elazer, so slight differences here at the moment. Now, Elazer does hold a slight worker lead, so again, small differences. It's been a fairly passive game between the 2 players. Neither of them have really approached this in a way where they're like, okay, well, let's go into a very aggressive Ling Bane phase here. Let's get going. Let's see what we can do. As we do see this lair just on its way up, going to be finishing very soon again. He'll be just a bit behind on that roach speed, which means for Elazer, he'll continue to be the passive player in this, whereas Denver with the roach speed can get on the map a bit more easily. That's Zerglin denied. A Ling in the main base getting some scouting, and, well, again, not much to see apart from the lack of Aspire is maybe one of the bigger things you can see now, just the lack of tech. It's something which you can now think about and be like, okay, well, this looks as though it really is, for now, going to be a roach-on-roach game. So I missed a couple of Banes just rolling in towards this mineral line here. Actually finds 6 workers, so Denver finding a little bit of damage to get things started here as we finally see something being done on the map. I mean, considering how far into the game we are, considering ZvZ, the fact that we've seen 12 lings for 6 drones and 5 lings, it's really not a lot. Obviously, the 6 drones obviously makes that add up a little bit. Now, we do see the Hydralisk Den dropping down from Denver as he's about halfway through with this now. Roach just coming up to protect that drone as he wants to take a 4th base. So we're already seeing kind of the difference in the 4 base layout now because of the way that they expanded initially. Elazer is going to take the 4th base where Denver took his 3rd, and Denver looks as though he's going to take his 4th base by continuing to move through the top side of the map. So again, very defensive in general for Denver. In general, this map is very defensive. It's not going to be easy to attack into or anything, as this Overseer taking some shots and is going to be chased away off over to the right-hand side. These Overlords just coming and checking around as well and continue to be pushed around just a little bit. +1 Carapace coming up at the moment, +2 missiles. Ooh, 7 drones. God, we got Banes just getting into main bases all over the place. And apologies, we've just not quite caught either of those just yet. But it's another 7 drones going down. As you will see a couple of roaches here from Denver continuing down to the south side. Some Ravagers as well. They're going to be showing up. And we just see the roaches pushing in. And the Ravagers... well, taking a couple hits already. Actually, that's painful for Denver. Loses 1 and very nearly a 2nd Ravager. He'll run by a few roaches to the right-hand side. A Baneling goes off and a little bit of splash damage. Nothing too crazy, though. As we'll see more of these roaches of Elazer starting to move out and heading up the right-hand side as well. Looking to kind of keep Denver pushed back here. Try and keep him contained from being able to run by and towards his bases. Roaches and Ravagers just turned for a quick kill there, and it is Elazer who's still pressing the issue. Has a bit of an army supply lead, but a lot of his army supply not really here right now. Okay, there it is. It was these roaches from the right side that weren't here just yet. Corrosive Files starting to connect. Actually, Elazer had a good couple to cancel some Ravagers from morphing in. That was really powerful for him, as suddenly Elazer just pushing up this ramp and going straight up here. And this is kind of crazy because there hasn't really been differences between the two of them, but Elazer just straight up has so much more right now, pushing in towards this high ground. And it looks as though Elazer's just going to straight up win this game right now here on the side of Forest. Well, unfortunately, we're not going to see a lot of kind of cool back and forth fights, but I still thought it was nice to see the different ways in which the players decide to expand, as Denver will take. If that seeding means that one player would be eliminated and the other would advance, everyone says this as soon as we go on this map. I don't think it's that bad, but if we do, if it is the difference, then we actually play a tiebreaker match instead of just eliminating someone straight away. So yes, every map is basically worth 1 point, though. It is the easiest answer overall. As we have to the top right-hand side here, our blue Zerg player, who is down a game. It is Denver, as you kick off on Antigonus. This map interesting because of its in-base natural expansion, which only has 6 mineral patches, by the way, so is not as great as expanding elsewhere. But when you do expand elsewhere, you start to expand out onto the map already. Bottom left-hand side, our red Zerg player from Clash is Elazer. Abergrove says, "Hey Wardy, I have a question, but it might be better on Discord." Dude, ask it wherever you want. Well, you can ask it here if you like. There's a bugged mineral patch, says Elazer. The drone moves strange. I don't see it. Ah, this one? Huh. Is it just... I think it's the same. Huh, okay, well, we'll let that be figured out. It is a hatch, pool, and hatch again from Elazer, so going to skip the gas, something which Denver obviously does commit into. So this is already very different to what we've seen previously. Just going to see a couple of drones on the way up here, and obviously, again, that's a little bit weird. I think it is just this patch here, because like the drones go around a corner. It actually means that it's really far away. So that's interesting. It is happening on Denver's side as well, though. So I think it's It's actually even between the two of them. Anyways, again, Elazer will be going for the more kind of economically focused approach to this one. That triple hatch setup already. Now, remember that Zergs generally will expand out of their base before they take an in-base expand. This happens on 16-bit in the current map pool, for example. So that itself isn't really too weird or too wacky. By the way, we have some very interesting ambient sounds on this map. Dinosaurs like to roar. It gets a little bit noisy in here with the dinosaurs. There's another map where there's some bugs as well that are like chirping. It's actually kind of funny because I don't feel as though the ambient sounds have ever bothered me on maps in the past. Even when there was the birds on Backwater, even that I didn't think was so bad. But the dinosaurs on Antigonus, they really make some roaring. They really make a good couple of roars every now and then. It's interesting. Anyways, that'll continue as we do see the hatchery set up here from Elazer. Seen by Denver, he knows his triple hatch as he goes into his own third. Now, he has cancelled his ling speed, which means he can go into a faster +1 attack upgrade. So, just realizing his opponent is gasless, has decided, okay, well, I don't need ling speed. It's unlikely I'll get enough damage done if I invest into it. Better just to save that gas, and now I can go into a very fast +1 missile attack and start taking advantage in that way, rather than just allow my opponent to have, you know, more drones than me, and me not having a single advantage on the map. So this will give Denver something to look at and be like, aha, advantage is mine. Couple overlords out over here. This overlord of Denver moving up the left side as well. Another evolution chamber here, just dropping down from Elazer, about halfway done. So this Evo about halfway done right now, and we're just going to be seeing the extractor coming down on each side of the map. Again, some creep just pushing forwards. We're going to try and see what's going on. Just, again, a slow start to this game, number 2. We had a slow start in game number 1. Pretty passive. Neither player really wanted to commit into the other throughout the early stages. So, yeah, just going to have a few moments here where we're going to sit back a little bit and wait really to see what the players want to go for. These couple of lings will stop this creep tumor from moving further out onto the map, though. It's not going to be able to go too much further at all here, as those Zerglings are obviously right on top of it, just waiting for it. It's almost like down it. Go on, spread. I dare you to spread. He will actually put a couple of lings up the ramp and just see a full wall off, so not much more information to be gained by those. Is it this patch here? Oh, I see. Yeah, this patch here sends the drones up there. I didn't see that one. That is weird. So it's the top mineral patch. Is that happening on Denver's side as well? No, it isn't. So it is that top side position, which is just making a slight difference here. Okay, well that's good to know. It's coming in mind out soon. Well spotted, Joe Caveman. I didn't see that at all. I was too invested elsewhere. Man, drones just moving around. It's hard to spot the difference, isn't it? Could be a game. Spot the drones which aren't mining correctly. Couple queens starting to target down this overseer, doing a little bit of damage as we see the spire starting up in the back of the main base. 1-1 missile upgrades coming in from Elazer, so not just missiles but carapace too. He's a bit later on the +1, but when he gets there he'll have +1 carapace as well. But Denver isn't too interested in roach roars anyways. He's already throwing down the spire, and he's already looking for a follow-up to this right now, as we do see that queen pushing an overlord back out over to the right-hand side. Hydralis Den drops in the third base of Elazer too, so he's already getting something set up to deal with this here. In terms of information, he hasn't seen the spire directly, but he might be somewhat wondering why his opponent's just being so passive and not really looking to push onto the map or anything like that. Fourth base coming down on each side of the map, and these roaches just skirmishing. Elazer has a slower roach speed. His +1 now finished. As the meters start to come through, this is quite nice because he is forcing Denver to not purely make meters. There's a few extra roaches being made. The more roaches that Denver makes, the worse this is for him, of course, because he really wants to put all of his money into Mutalisks so that they're as effective as possible, as early as possible here. As that hatchery does get cancelled, and now moving towards these roaches, well, they're going to keep on fighting Elazer, and especially as the meters fly in, he'll realize that pulling back is, well, maybe he does pull back. If there's only a couple meters, you can maybe afford to lose 3-4 roaches for free, rather than losing everything while just trading out. It might actually work out just that little bit better. As these roaches continue to back away. A melee upgrade from Denver really shows us that he wants to commit into this further, though. He does not want to go back into roaches as a follow-up. He probably wants to go into a Baneling nest because he knows Hydralisks are going to be forced. Hydra are in fact already on the way out. And if he forces Hydralisks here, well, that would be really awesome, because as this Queen of Energy goes down, because then he goes Banelings. If you have melee upgrades for those Banes, that could be absolutely terrifying. Now, first queen here, the second queen, sorry, the first one got killed. Second queen does hold strong as the Hydra count starts to rise up. The effectiveness of these meters will already start to drop away. I'm just going to be seeing those meters looping back around into the back of this mineral line. Oh, just for a moment there, looked as though they're going to try and grab a couple workers, but decides not to, as the meters will come back in for Hydras, but again, decides it's not really a good trade. After just getting one of them, he seems to be kind of content with where he's at. Groove Spine upgrade coming in from Elazer, so that's getting ready to go along the Hydra's den. Again, just upgrades which are going to help these Hydras. He already has Muscular Organs, which helps them move around the bases defensively. It's weird because usually Groove Spines is the better defensive upgrade, while Muscular Organs is the better aggressive upgrade. But against Mutalisks, having the Muscular Organs is actually very useful because you can actually go between the bases and respond to where the mutas move to very quickly. So in terms of fighting mutas, Muscular Organs is almost, again, the better upgrade defensively. Oh no. Zmia's obviously taking a couple of hits right there, as we'll see more of these roaches heading along towards the upper right-hand side of the map. So Elazer looking to stay aggressive in this situation. Going to arrive. I mean, I don't know if it's going to work, though. I mean, he's missing so many Hydras, and in the end, we have seen more roaches coming up. Now the Baneling speed comes through, so after he went for +1 melee, he switched back into missiles, but still had the intention of going in towards the Baneling nest here. He has a second Evo if he wants to go +2 melee upgrades as well. Just going to have those meters pushed away once more. The meter count's actually been ravaged recently. That's 10 meters that have gone down. They really didn't find any value at all, so in general here, Elazer will hold an advantage in the game, and you can kind of see it already. You know, they're both maxed out, and Elazer just has a bit more in the bank than his opponent. And if we look at the actual armies on the map as well, of course, well, Elazer is just worth that little bit more as well. It's just little things like that, which are obviously going to help Elazer here. As we see that Overseer hitting the back. I was just wondering what that was for a moment. Elazer starts to push at the front. Corrosive Bars he'll have to back away from, especially with the Hydras there. Does not want to let his Hydras to stay on that position. Roaches, Hydras, and Ravagers coming around the top side. First Hydras pushing up here right now then, and just going to get a little bit of damage done, picking their way through some of these workers, so starting to deal some damage, and again more Roach Ravager from Denver coming through. Units to the right hand side, pushing forwards, Queen goes down, and there's going to be seeing more of these Roaches and Hydras off to the left, coming back as well. And Crosserbar's still coming down though. I mean, 20 drones killed, but boy, as these Banes have been going off as well. Denver doesn't have, I mean, he's going to push this back, but Elazer is going to have the reinforcements which he needs here. Oh, flying thing in the middle of the map, we don't usually see those. But yeah, Elazer should have the reinforcements to close this off, and again, his advantage from early in this game is really, really starting to shine at the moment, as we do see the Roaches and Ravagers gathering again. Some Roaches burrow through to the main base from that previous harassing force, gets a Queen, burrows again. Denver's straight on the counter-attack here. A couple of burrowed Roaches will see that. Oh, Corrosive Bars and triple Overload though, triple kill for these Ravagers. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. A couple of Overlords still just moving around. Roaches all over the place. And again, these units coming around the left side. Lurker's ready though from the Elazer. Didn't talk much about the Lurker then coming up, but obviously it's kind of a game ender when it comes